In this video, I'll be explaining how the Amazon Vendor Central or 1P model actually works and how you can take advantage of it as a supplier. For those of you who are new here, my name is Benjamin Bolshinsky. I used to work at Amazon in the vendor management team for almost 3 years, and now I run a company called Vendor Launch where we work exclusively with Amazon vendors to increase their purchase orders. And so, without further ado, the first thing you have to understand is the difference between Seller Central and Vendor Central. So, you can see the diagram on the left here. In Seller Central, you are supplying directly to end customers, right? You are selling directly to the consumer. You're not actually selling to Amazon as you are in the Vendor Central model or the 1P or the retail model, where you're not actually selling to the consumer. You're selling to Amazon. Amazon is your customer, and you have to understand that. And then Amazon, as a separate entity, then sells your products, their products at that point, to the end customer. Because Amazon, when they buy products from you, the ownership transfers from you to Amazon. So Amazon owns the product they sell. So you're not selling to the end customer. You're selling to Amazon. Amazon is your customer in the vendor model, unlike Seller Central. And that has multiple different flow-on effects. So, for example, to illustrate this, basically, the Amazon vendor model, you, as a vendor, as a supplier, you send products to Amazon, right? Then Amazon, as the retailer, they fulfill products as the retailer to the end customer. So, in practical terms, Amazon raises purchase orders usually once a week to buy stock from you, the vendor, at a wholesale price, the cost price. And then Amazon, because the point at which they've bought stock, they now own it, and so they set the retail price on the website and they sell it to the consumer. The vendor, unlike the seller model, does not control the retail price. Now, this can be one of the best things that you can use to grow sales. So Amazon owns the inventory once it's received in their warehouse, which means all fulfillment, returns, customer service, forecasting, all of that is Amazon's responsibility. You don't have to worry about any of that under the vendor model. Under the seller model, as a seller, you have to answer customer complaints, you have to worry about customer refunds, you have to decide how much stock you want to send to Amazon's warehouse, right? You have to start building out forecasting models. You need to hire people to do forecasting, right? Because if you don't send enough product to Amazon, you miss out on sales. If you send too much to Amazon's warehouse, then you'll be hit with massive fees. But under the vendor model, Amazon handles all of the forecasting using their internal processes. And look, Amazon's forecasting system is the best in the world. That's why Amazon is Amazon. So that's crucial. The next thing you really have to understand as a vendor is two different metrics. What I call sell-in, and then the other one is sell-out. Basically, sell-in on the left here, this is what Amazon orders from you, the vendor. This is another name for purchase orders, net receipts, invoice sales from you. So basically what you're sending to Amazon, what Amazon are ordering from you. This is what you will invoice Amazon and ultimately for what you will get paid. This is measured at the cost price, which is what Amazon will pay you, and it's driven by Amazon's automated ordering system. Now, we also have a metric called sell out. Now, this is what the end customer buys from Amazon. In other words, retail sales, shipped revenue, and this is measured at the retail price, which is what the customers actually buy or pay Amazon. Now, these are two separate metrics. Over a long enough time horizon, they are quite similar, because if Amazon sells 10 units to the customer, well, they're probably going to get those 10 units from you, right? Like, they're going to get them from somewhere. Amazon doesn't manufacture any products. So, over a long enough time horizon, these are the same, but there's still a couple of key differences. And you can see here, it drives long-term PO health, sell-out. So, in other words, if the sell-out is low, if Amazon aren't selling enough products to the customer, then the POs will shrink and they'll over time stop ordering from you, or they'll start ordering significantly less. Which is why, as a vendor, although you are invoicing based on the sell-in, you have to be equally as considerate, and equally your attention has to be equally as focused in ensuring Amazon improves their sellout as it does sell-in, because sellout is ultimately what will drive the orders that you get. And so, as a vendor, really, this is kind of the process that we go through for our clients at Vendor Launch, that we take them through, and we suggest how they optimize. This is very different from the Seller Central ways of working, but as a vendor, there's a couple options here. So firstly, step one, you have to add your products to Amazon. And this is what we do for our clients. We have a catalog team that manages this for them end to end. And so, until you've listed your products on Amazon, you're not going to get any orders. So this is crucial. It's the first step. It's what we call the foundational component. Everything else is built on top of this. So again, listing products onto Amazon, doing it properly, efficiently, and comprehensively. And if you've done that correctly, you should then get purchase orders. If you don't get them, again, there's multiple ways you can get Amazon to brute force POs, which again, we do for our clients. And so step two, you'll get the orders in Vendor Central, which is the platform that you'll use. The vendor confirms the purchase order depending on their availability, depending on how much stock you, the vendor, have in your warehouse. And then step four, you will then label, pick, pack, and ship those purchase orders that you are fulfilling. You ship the PO to Amazon's fulfillment center. That takes us to step five. Usually, a week or 2 weeks, depending on where you're located, the stock is received at Amazon's warehouse. So they'll scan the stock in. Step five. Step five is crucial because there's two things that happens. Firstly, this is the point at which you'll probably get paid, or you'll invoice Amazon for those purchase orders. And then depending on your payment terms, you might get paid a little later. But, the point at which the stock is received at Amazon's warehouse, that triggers the process for you to actually get paid. And it also triggers another process, which is the point at which it becomes live on Amazon's website. The point at which customers can start actually buying and ordering your products. And here, this is where we start advertising for our clients and driving as much customer demand to your products on Amazon. And then step 7, this is the flywheel. So this completes the entire process, which is what ultimately grows vendor accounts. Higher customer sales, which are flow-on effect from step 6, so higher customer sales through advertising, through other organic means. This drives more POs, which goes back to step 2, right? Higher customer sales means Amazon have more demand, means they order more stock from you, and voila, we go back to step 2. More purchase orders, the process starts again, ultimately leading to more advertising, more sales. Again, step 2, more POs, and the cycle continues. And this is what ultimately takes an account from, $500,000 to $10 million. It's what really grows your account exponentially. So as a vendor, really, you've got a couple metrics that you have to be absolutely tracking, religiously almost. In fact, these metrics are very different from sellers, which is why I always suggest when you're working with someone, you need to be working with someone that's exclusively dialed into Amazon, Vendor Central, right? These metrics are very different from the metrics that your sellers will track. Seller Central is completely different metrics, which is why a lot of clients that we work with, previously they were working with an agency that managed sellers as well as vendors. But the issue is, it's not specific enough. They're not tracking these metrics because their internal processes, systems are not 100% dialed in or focused in on the vendor model, right? You need to be working with someone that knows the vendor model top to bottom. And this doesn't have to be us. You just need to understand that these metrics are different from sellers to vendors. And so if you're a vendor and you're watching this video, you need to measure these metrics. If you're not a vendor, you can click away. I don't know the metrics for sellers. because again, we're exclusively focused with the vendor model. And so the key metrics. So as I mentioned, sell out. This is the shipped revenue. This is what Amazon sells to the customer. And why this is arguably more important than the purchase orders is because this will drive purchase orders. Amazon will only order products from you that they can sell to customers. So this is the primary top line sellout metric that we track, shipped revenues. Then on the right here, we have purchase orders, also called net receipts. This is what I was referring to as sell-in. This is the value of purchase orders that Amazon have actually ordered from you. We have net PPM, which is Amazon's profitability metric. Not only will Amazon sell products that customers want, they will sell products that Amazon themselves make money. And so you have to be equally as concerned about A, is there customer demand? And B, is Amazon going to make money from these products? Confirmation rate, this is the percentage of purchase orders that the vendor will actually ship. You really have to be aiming for at least 90%. If Amazon orders 100 units from you, you want to be confirming at least 90 units of those and fulfilling 90 units of those, 90%. This is quite important. It impacts everything, Everything to do with your vendor account is determined by how much stock you fulfill to Amazon, you send to Amazon. Sellable on-hand units inventory. This is what Amazon will hold in their warehouse. You should be tracking this. If Amazon don't have enough inventory, they won't sell enough products. So sometimes you have to supplement this through Born to Run, through direct fulfillment, through various models. And then lastly, ACoS, ROAS, TOCoS. This is advertising metrics. This is probably the only metrics that are the same as a seller that you would track. But again, there are some subtle differences as to how vendors should advertise compared to sellers, which I'll go through shortly. And again, so going deep diving into the Vendor Central platform. So this is the platform that vendors use to pretty much track everything to do with their vendor account. Again, it's like Seller Central, except a different portal, a different model, looks different. Usually, you'll get an invitation here once to open a vendor account. And basically, this is where you'll track catalog, getting products listed, orders, purchase orders, there's advertising, reports and analytics, sales, inventory. All of this is done through the Vendor Central model. This is where you will confirm your orders, you will generate labels, shipments, integrations with your internal inventory tools. And so for many vendors, for many clients, we handle this end to end. We have teams that look at, raising vendor cases, creating vendor catalog, bundles, products, pretty much everything that you need. And then one of the key components, catalog management, is really creating new products, adding them to Vendor Central. If you don't have products added to Amazon's Vendor Central with a cost price, Amazon cannot they cannot order them at all. And if Amazon can't order a product, then anything you do after that is useless. And the advertising, promotions, all of that is contingent upon Amazon being able to order the product in the first place. Content updates, improving the conversion rates of your products. This is where you update product titles, product bullet points, SEO, product pages. Again, we have an SEO team as well. A+ content. All of this drives conversions, which ultimately drives sell out. And then, as I mentioned, higher sell out means more purchase orders. Images. Amazon requires a main image on a white background. If you don't have that, it gets suppressed. So again, adding more images improves conversion rates and drives sellout. Product variations, again, drives sellout. So these are different mechanisms that you can use to drive your sellout and improve your customer demand, which will increase your purchase orders. So in terms of the purchase ordering system, this is automated. So Amazon has an automated internal ordering system that raises POs usually once a week, depending on how it's set up. And so it's the vendor's responsibility. As a vendor, you have to confirm these orders. You have to fulfill as many orders to Amazon as you can. And as I mentioned, around a 90% confirmation rate is what I would suggest. Obviously, like, every supplier has out of stocks, distributor, manufacturer, whatever it is, like, everyone has out of stocks. It happens. But again, managing inventory from your end is crucial so that you can fulfill as many orders Amazon sends as possible. When Amazon sends an order for you, that is already existing customer demand. You do not have to, they want this right now. So this is not, you're not buying more customers, more traffic, more orders. Like, this is just baseline demand. So really, it's really the first step is ensuring you can fulfill as much of these orders as possible. So I'll just summarize some key takeaways. Again, Amazon is your customer under the vendor model. They buy wholesale, they set the retail price, they are in the stock. You have to work backwards from the customer. Again, you're not selling to the consumer. You're not selling to the individual consumer who's browsing Amazon. You're selling to Amazon directly, unlike the seller model. Number 2, sell-in is what Amazon orders. So the sell-in is your purchase orders that you receive from Amazon on a weekly basis. Sell-out is shipped revenue. This is what customers buy from Amazon. You have to be concerned about both. And these, over a long enough time horizon, should be fairly similar, right? If Amazon sells 10 units to the customer, they're more likely they're not going to order those 10 units from you to supply that customer. Having said that, I would say the focus should be sell out. This is what the customer buys from Amazon, because this downstream will lead to more POs from you. Step number 3, sell out drives future sell in. If customers aren't buying, Amazon will stop ordering. Always focus on your customer. Vendor Central is a control center where you will go to manage your catalog, POs, reports, advertising, and all of that. So you'll know it back to front. And then, as a vendor, your job is to maximize sell-in. Ultimately, that's what you will invoice, and this is what the purchase orders you get are for. And to do that, you have to improve sell-out, which is ensuring the product converts and people buy it from Amazon. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll talk soon and have a great day.